So I just got a call from a man asking me about Tantra and the work that I do, and whether or not what I do could help support him and his addiction to porn. And I want to talk about porn for a second. There's so much to be said about it. There is like a whole world to be said about porn, and that we're in this time where porn is different than the porn when I was a kid or even in my earlier adult years. We're talking about a whole different thing that's going on with the internet and with the different kinds of porn and with what shows up and with what we have access to and how old are we when we get access to it and how we use porn and what that's done to our sexual capacity, interest, our capacity, our thoughts around what sex is supposed to be, purposefulness, and how it's affected our erotic system and how it's affected our arousal system, what it's done to men and expectations and fantasy, and what it's done to women in trying to meet that and be that, and that's what we're after, and is that what good sex is, and how come that doesn't feel fulfilling all the time, and I like it but I don't, and some people are just super repelled by it and it's just not okay at all, and then there's the different kinds of porn. Some porn that really is degrading and painful and horrible to even, oh, it breaks my heart to even think that's what's happening. And then there's some porn that's fun and alive and playful and creative and joyful and can add to things. And there's a time when we know porn's causing trouble. So I think of it a lot like I do any kind of alcohol or drug use. And that is, there are some people who can use and it's recreational and it's social and it doesn't cause life-changing problems and it doesn't diminish the quality of life. And then there's other times when the use of those same alcohol and other drugs really diminishes quality of life, really changes the way in which your world works. And job losses, relationship losses. I spent 25 years working in the field of addiction and watching what alcohol and other drugs did to some people and what it did to other people, and the difference over here and the difference over there. And so I want to just equate that with porn. I see it, my experience is it's the same thing. Some people take it or leave it, use it as a little inspiration, have a little fun with it, don't think about it a lot. Other people, super addicted, super just can't do anything else. I have woman after woman who comes to me who says when it's time to go to bed at night, her husband's in the other room watching porn when he's got a live, vibrant woman in his bed. He still wants to go watch porn. That is a relationship diminishing practice and or addiction. So the question was if Tantra can help remove or help you with your addictions. Well, what I want to say about that is it's a slippery slope. Tantra in itself, and I use the word Tantra, if you haven't heard me talk about what that means to me, I use Tantric principles. Tantra in its ancient form isn't accessible to me in this day and age and where I live and who I am. But I have a lot to learn from the pieces of Tantra that I've been able to study. And I study a lot of other things too, in terms of sex positive, healthy ways of being with our bodies and being embodied. And so, in using tantric principles, they call it a slippery slope. They call it a left-hand path. It's not an easy one because there is a lot of addictive qualities and there's a lot of getting called into places where it's no longer a benefit, but now you're actually causing some pain or some disconnect. So when I'm asked if it can help or not, one of the other things that we're knowing about addiction these days is that a lot of addiction comes from lack of connection. It comes from trying to fill up these empty places in our body and being. There is a great video if you look up addiction in rats on YouTube where they've got the studies around the rats who most acted addicted were the ones that were isolated and alone and had no entertainment or interest in anything else. Then the drugs win. But when they were put in rat heaven, where they were given games and part friends and things to do, they used the drugged water sometimes, but not all the time, because they had connection. They had something else going on in their life. They had a fulfillment. So in Tantra, if you're using Tantra in the bigger expression, Tantra means to weave. If what you're doing is moving into a field of awareness that assists you in weaving all over into lots of places in your life, how does it weave through the way you eat? How does it weave through the way you parent? All of it. How does it weave in? Where's your awareness at? And your sexuality awareness helps to awaken the rest of your awareness. Now you're in an expanding place where you have more connection, more tentacles, more touch, more understanding of the bigger field. So in Can Tantra Heal Porn Addiction? Tricky. And if you're going to use that modality, if that's the way that you're called to see if you can heal some sexual wounding and some disconnecting, I really want to invite you to do it consciously, do it with support, get somebody who can coach you through what you're doing. A one-time visit to a tantric practitioner is one thing, but really creating a plan of health and well-being, having your tantric practitioner be a part of that, have somewhere that you are able to talk about, process, pick apart, articulate all of the little details of what's moving through your system as you're having those experiences. Then, I believe, utilizing tantric principles can be a support to your overall health and well-being, including moving away from addiction. Thanks. I'm Kim. I'm a sex educator and intimacy coach, and thanks for letting me talk to you today. Bye.